God in you. Whether you're black or white, gay or straight, Christian, Buddhist, or Jew, this door is open to you. My brothers and sisters, help me welcome our leader, our spiritual leader, the Reverend Dr. Wilkin Wilcox.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Eddie Watkins Jr. Whether you're black, you're white, you're gay or straight, Christian, Buddhist, or Jew, this door, this place is open to you. And what is it that we're selling here? We're selling love. We're selling compassion. We're selling a better idea for ourselves. And doesn't the world need a better idea right now? And that better idea is that God is with us, that God is for us, that God is through us, and that we get to direct that power, that love, that compassion, that kindness. We get to choose how we decide how we're going to live. And together we're coming together, co-creating a world that will work for everyone. So know that your time here is well spent. You're going to leave this place in some significant way, healed, blessed, and prospered. And you can do that by doing one simple thing. Leaving all your troubles, your fears, your would-haves, your could-haves, your should-haves, leave all that stuff outside. And for the next 45 minutes or so, to open up an avenue of spirit possibilities in your life. And what are spirit possibilities? Well, they're for more love, more joy, more health, more laughter, more friendship, more dance, more music, more everything that makes you feel alive. Because that's what Spirit is doing through you and through me, showing up in the physical, recognizing itself through our love, our joy, and our laughter. So know you're in a good place this morning, and you're going to leave here knowing that God is for you and that you have come to life to see and do and be something amazing and wonderful. All right, Eddie, let's get them going with something really powerful and good.
I think you know the deal. Now, if you feel like standing up, feel free to stand up. Yeah, it works better when you stand up. And if you're sitting down, just stomp your feet. Ha ha. Take a look at the person next to you. Say, I recognize the God in you. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together, we come together, we come together. In the name of love, we come together, we come together, we come together. In the name of love. All right, you guys sound good today. And you're clapping in time. Take a look at the person next to you. Say, God loves you and I love you too. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. Oh, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, from every walk of life, from every creed and color, in kinship we unite, in honor of the God in each other. Ooh, take a look at the person next to you. Say, namaste, I bow to you. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. Here we are. We come together.
We come together in the name of love. We come together to know something better for ourselves. So thank you for being here today. If you're joining us online, thank you for being with us online. We know that however you're with us, you're going to experience great good today. You're going to leave here with a better idea for yourself. Well, just a couple of announcements before we get going. I have a contest that I'd like to throw out to you. And that is, we do all these YouTube videos during the week. We do at least two, and sometimes 3 a week. And you can go back and make comments and like the videos we've done previously. The person who makes the most comments this coming week on new or old videos, I'll take you out to lunch.
Whoa.
Yeah. Now, it doesn't have to be much. It can be like something simple. I love these videos. I enjoy Reverend Ken's messages. He looks thinner in person. You can anything. I'll take anything, and because that will help pump up our viewership. And you will enjoy the videos. The videos are fun. They're quick, only 10 minutes or so. And YouTube doesn't want me to tell you this. You don't have to watch all the video to make a comment. So whoever gets the most will get a free lunch with me. Now, I also want to raise an issue with you. We have our members meeting coming up the 23rd of this month. We are doing exceptionally well. It's pretty amazing that we are in the second year of this epidemic. As an organization, we've done well. We ended last year with a nice surplus. So financially, we're doing well. The one issue we have coming up is that our landlord wants to raise our rent back to pre-COVID levels, $4,500 a month. And we're meeting with him next week to see if we can negotiate something. But I thought it would be good just to throw the idea out to you of, do you see any empty buildings around? Or who knows? Just for all of you to start thinking, because collectively we can come up with a good idea of how we can have our Sunday joyful services and not have to pay exorbitant rent to do that. So whatever decisions we make, we'll keep you informed. That'll be part of our members meeting on the 23rd of saying, these are some options. We're not going to spring anything on you immediately. We're going to let you know what our options are, and then we'll vote for the best option we have. So those are all my announcements. To get us started, why don't we have Jim Saul come up and do an opening treatment and a treatment for us. Come on up, Jim.
Good morning. I wore a short sleeve shirt in the middle of January. Isn't that amazing?
Yay, Florida.
I love it. A few weeks ago, I mentioned that I'm going back through so many of the inspirational books that have really affected me over the years, and kind of revisiting with the authors. And this week, I revisited Thich Nhat Hanh, the Vietnamese peace activist, Buddhist monk, and writer. He wrote more than 100 books in English. He's amazing. One of the reasons I really love him is because he so often links us to the earth, links us to the environment. And I love that idea. As being a gardener, I think that's a really important aspect of life. So this is one of his quotes that I really like. Walk as if you are kissing the earth with your feet. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? And this is my favorite. If you are a poet, you will see clearly that there is a cloud floating in this piece of paper. Without a cloud, there will be no rain. Without rain, the trees will not grow. Without trees, we cannot make paper. The cloud is essential for the paper to exist. If the cloud is not here, the sheet of paper cannot be here either. We speak so often of the oneness of all things, the fact that we are not just an individual, but I am an accumulation of all that has made me here. Ken often says we are stardust. We are those particles that have manifested into Jim. Okay, so let's take that oneness and go into prayer. And know with me that there is one divine intelligence. And this one divine intelligence is everywhere present. There is no place where it is not. And when we are quiet, we can feel and know and experience that one divine intelligence. We can feel it. We can see it in the clouds. We can feel the energy of the trees and the earth. And it can give us a calm contentment beyond this struggling life of ours. This one divine intelligence is here to help us, to encourage us, to help us find the truth of our being. And I know that this day, each and every one of us here will find a little bit more truth, a little bit more love and compassion for the world, and that we ourselves will connect a little deeper with the earth. I give thanks for each person here. I give thanks for this divine intelligence that guides me. And I know that we are blessed in so many ways. And I can release this prayer to be so easily and simply by saying, and so it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Okay, I have something special for you this morning. I'm not going to ask you, are you ready? I ask myself, am I ready? I don't care what's on TV about the state of the economy. I don't believe most of what I see. I know what I know to be. God is so good all the time. God is so good all the time. God is so good, so good all the time. All the time. I'm walking by faith and not by sight, 'cause what seems wrong today, tomorrow might seem right. All is well and it's all good and unfolding as it should, 'cause God is so good all the time. God is so good all the time. God is so good, so good all the time. All the time. Well, through the highs and the lows, through the troubles and the woes, through the peaks and the valleys, I can feel the spirit inside me. Ooh, my, I want to testify. Let me tell you why. Through my darkest hour, I call on the mighty power to carry me through. You better believe it's true. God is so good, so good all the time, all the time, all the time. But through my highs and lows, through my ups and downs, one thing that never changes is the grace of God. It's so good, it's so good, all the time. My God is so good. So good. Ah, God is so good. Hey, oh, so good. God is so good. So good. All the time. All the time.
Thank you, Eddie. Wow. God is good all the time.
All the time.
Yes. So at the first of the new year, when we get the new year off to our start after we do the burning bowl and white stone ceremony, we go back over the first 4 chapters of the Science of Mind textbook. We have them outside if you'd like to purchase one and go through them with me. I start off the first chapter today, The Thing Itself. The Thing Itself. Now, this book was written in 1938. The original textbook had been written in 26. And that one kind of got him in trouble because he included a lot of things about psychic phenomenon and a lot of ideas on sexuality that were very advanced for 1926. You also have to remember 1926, that was in the roaring 20s. Things were very liberated. By the time he got to 38, things had shut down. So he rewrote the textbook. He took all the stuff about sexuality and psychic phenomena out, and he included these first 4 chapters. And this, in a lot of ways, encapsulates his whole thinking, these first 4 chapters. So if you will stick with us for the first next 4 Sundays, read the 4 chapters if you want. You'll get a good understanding of this teaching and how to use it, because that's what we want you to do. We want you to use this teaching to bring better good into your life, more love, more joy. So the chapter today is The Thing Itself. The Thing Itself. So he's writing about spirit, about God, not as Father, not as male. First of all, I mean, come on, guys. A male with access to all the power tools of the universe would have blown it up way by now. So that couldn't work. So he's talking about spirit as consciousness, God as consciousness, or more to the point, God as life itself, life itself. And so when we say we hate life, we say we're hating God. We say we love life, we're saying we love God. Now, traditional teachings, or how I was brought up, told us that, this life was just to be suffered through, till we get to heaven. And then heaven was just going to be just wonderful. We were going to walk around with crowns on our heads. We were going to live in a mansion. We'd walk around on streets of gold. Now, just to ensure that I grew up to be a total neurotic, my parents shipped me off to a fundamentalist Christian school when I was just a little wee one. And I remember the headmaster there, who I thought of as the white devil. I just thought he was just the worst. My mom thought he was very handsome, and that made me even dislike him more. But he would bring us in on each Sunday to have a sermon, the whole school, just to make sure we were thoroughly terrorized for the weekend. And I remember one of his ideas was, and I don't know where he got this from, was that in heaven, that gold would be pure. And so it wouldn't be like the gold we have. It would be pure, and it would be just clear. So you just could see through it. And I remember thinking, well, we call that glass down here. And it's nothing big. Nothing big. We reject that totally and completely. We reject the idea that we have to suffer in order to experience the goodness of spirit right where we are. We totally reject that idea. We actually believe the opposite is true. That the more we enjoy life here and now, the more it will allow us to savor those ideas in the spiritual realm, and the higher it will raise our vibration to a greater level. So it's important for us to bring about as much love, as much joy as we can in the here and now. It's good for us. We are birthing God into the physical realm through our love, our joy, and our laughter. That's how we are channels for God's goodness. Now, the idea that God is an old, angry man sitting up on a throne, the idea that God is not that trips up a lot of us. I remember a couple of years ago, a young woman came. She was in one of the women's shelters in town, and they had gotten mixed up. They were going to a church. They got mixed up, and they ended up here. And afterwards, she had a lot of questions for me. And I remember talking, I could tell where this was headed, but at some point she asked me, she clung on to the idea, she was like, well, why do you call God it? And I said, well, we don't want to think of God as, we don't want to think of it as male or female. It's beyond those things. And when I said that God wasn't male, I could just see her go offline. It was like, we have a new little puppy in our house, and if you clang your keys, she turns her head in a certain way. This young woman almost did that because she had never even contemplated that idea that God might not be an angry old man. You know, when I was a kid and they raised up, they always put him on a stone throne. I was like, get him a lazy boy. Maybe he'll be a little less temperamental. Kennedy said, my teacher said, the way people describe God, you wouldn't even want to go to the brunch with him, let alone experience eternity. So we want to get a better idea about spirit, a better idea about God. Get an idea that can support you, can support the best idea for you. Now, interestingly, a lot of people like the idea of an angry God. They like it. They cling on to that idea. There's something about it. It's almost like when you have a bad case of poison ivy, and you're just tempted to itch the wound, even though you know itching it or scratching it will make it worse. There's something about having that angry God people resonate with. I remember in the little Christian school I went to, in each of the classrooms, they had a wooden paddle in the front of the classroom. And the little kids had a little saying they liked to say. They would say, the Board of Education, the paddle, applied to the seat of learning, produces results. Neurotic people. That's what it produces. And I just never understood how they would take kind of joy in the idea that they could be beaten or they could be punished. So we want to relieve ourselves of that totally, because those ideas of an angry and punishing God, the only thing they do is they create an angry and judgmental life. And we see a lot of results of that in our world right now. It cannot produce a happy and fulfilled life. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to have a happy and full of life. Spirit has no need to experience lack or limitation. And if God doesn't need to experience, why should we? Why should we? Dr. Holmes, that was one of the most powerful lines in the textbook. He says, you can't count the grains of sand on one beach. He said, the very air is vibrant with energy. He said, why then are we sick and poor and weak? It can't be because of spirit. It has to be something from our thinking, our consciousness that's creating it. So our teaching is about how we can let go of those negative ideas and accept a greater possibility to have the best life possible. And to do that, we have to have a God who we can be in partnership with. Partnership. Not one we beg and plead to, but one we stand full upright in our spiritual maturity and announce our good. A God of our understanding. We have a right to have a God that we understand, that doesn't offend our intelligence, that we can put to work in our lives. Because that's what we're here to do. We're here to put this power to work in our lives to create a more loving and kind, compassionate world. Dr. Holmes says to think this power would have created us and left us here on our own without availability to help would be to dishonor this thing we call spirit. God, he said, he said we live in a spiritual universe and that God is in, through, and for us, for you, for me. We just have to give it something to be for. We have to give it something that will allow it to rush creative energy into. Something that we can have faith in, we can work towards, we can believe in. Something that we feel we deserve, that we can embody. We have to get a better idea about God, and we got to get a better idea about ourselves. To know that we're deserving of every great good. You deserve all the love you can have in your life. What does it say in Scripture? Full measure, shaken down and overflowing. You deserve prosperity and health and joy. You deserve wonderful family, great friends. You deserve to have a wonderful time. And there is a way to do it. That's by holding on the best idea for yourself. Get a hold of the highest vibration you can for yourself and throw that into cosmic possibilities. And then work with what shows up. That's what our biggest challenge. People are constantly waiting to win the lottery or for Mr. Right to come through. I always tell you the story. I was doing treatment for a woman in Atlanta. And she was a very interesting woman. She wanted to create a federal department for waging peace. She said, you know, we have a Department of War. Why shouldn't we have a Department of Peace? I thought it was a good idea. She wanted love in her life. Lovely. So she wanted me to do treatment for her. I was doing treatment. One day she said, let's go out to lunch, Ken. Sure. I never turned down a lunch offer. You can tell. We were out at lunch. She was so rude to the waitress. So rude. I made a joke of it. I told the waitress, I'm paying for this. I'm ordering the tacos. Please don't do anything to the tacos. No extra spit in the tacos. Thank you very much. Now, here's the thing. If you can't love a waitress, you can't attract love in your life. And how are you going to bring about world peace? How are you going to do that? It starts off exactly where we are. Proclaiming the good, proclaiming God's possibilities, exactly where we are. Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning. He said, find something you want to live for. And he said, the way to live will open up for you. I read an interesting study this past week, and it was talking, this guy had done research on people who should be happy. It was people who with very little responsibility, lots of money, lots of time, all these things. What he found out, they're not happy at all. In fact, that's one way to be very unhappy, is to be footloose and fancy-free, no obligations, nobody to help or support. Not a very good way to live. People who are happy are people who have something they're working towards. They're supporting someone. They're loving someone. They're needed. They have found a way to be needed in the world. Now, we don't want to make a martyr of ourselves. We don't want to make ourselves go into victimhood with that. But we want to know we are channels for God's blessings, not just for ourselves, but for everyone around us. Dr. Holmes, he said, liberation is planted within our innermost souls. And he says, like the prodigal son, we have to make the discovery of it for ourselves. It can't be made for you. You have to make that decision for yourself, that you are the way Spirit is working in your life, and you are wonderful. And just like in Scripture it says, when the prodigal son comes back home, first of all, he makes the decision, I don't have to suffer like this. That was his profound decision. I don't have to live like this. My Father has better for me. So he goes back to the home, and he doesn't know how they're going to respond to him. But the moment the father sees him, the father runs to him. The father runs to him, and he gives him the best ring off his finger, and he says, let's kill the fatted calf. My son has come home. And this is how Spirit will respond to our right thinking. It will rush to you. Great goodness and love and joy, and kindness and compassion. Now, it's interesting. There's another part of this story, the prodigal son, that doesn't often get talked about. I kind of like it because it kind of resonates with me. And that's the prodigal son's, his older brother. The older brother had stayed on the farm. The older brother had worked hard the whole time the prodigal son was out partying and spending his inheritance. When the older brother gets back and realizes that his younger brother is there and they've thrown a big party for him, he asked the father, why have you done this for him? I have been here the whole time. Why didn't you do it for me? And the father's reply is, well, you had it all the time. It was yours for the asking. Christianity, the interpretation of that story is that the older brother was in jealousy and that he wasn't grateful for the blessings he already had. And I think there may be some truth to that, but I also think it's important that he didn't ask. He didn't ask. The blessings were there laid out before him, but he had to step up and ask. So it's important for us as we're moving into this new year to get an idea of what we want from life, what we're willing to experience in life. So have an idea of the love you want to have, the joy and prosperity, and put it out there and start doing your work. Do your work in consciousness and support of the idea, and get out there and help that idea come for a reality for as many people as you can. And this law, this principle, it's going to show up. Dr. Holmes says the divine plan is for freedom. Bondage is not God ordained. Freedom is the birthright of all of us. Freedom from lack and limitation, freedom from illness, freedom from fear and worry. Don't we need some freedom from that right now? Freedom from bondage of every kind. That is your birthright. And the way we think can become the law of our lives. To learn to think is to learn to live. Our minds are the echo of the eternal mind. And the sooner we discover it, the sooner we will be happy. The road of freedom is not mysterious. We have at our disposal a creative force that we can consciously connect to and use. God wants you to put it to use for your health and love, your joy and prosperity. Become an outlet of God's goodness right where you are. And the more you use those creative energies, the more that will flow to you. We're always going to be expanding. We're always going to be enlarging our capacity to know and to experience from this point on. Now, my dear friends, we're going on to 2 years of what's been a really serious situation. 2 years almost, this center hasn't been what it once was. But you know what? Even through this dark time, even through this perilous situation, Spirit has been there with us. And we haven't given up. We are still being a beacon of light and hope and love and compassion and kindness for the whole world to see. And as we face bigger challenges, we're going to have more strength, more courage. Don't give up. The dawn is breaking, and when that dawn breaks, we're going to find ourselves in a wonderful and amazing new world. We have come to life so we can experience the goodness of God right where we are, right as we are. You don't have to become all saintly to have the love you want in your life. You don't have all righteous to have the prosperity you want in your life. All you have to do is to know who you are and whose you are. You're a child of the Most High. You've come to life to experience great goodness. There is nothing holding you back but a bad idea, and this morning turn loose of it. Let it go. Proclaim your goodness. Spirit is there with you, urging you on, calling you forward to know yourself as God knows you, powerful, good, dynamic, bold, kind, compassionate, and loving. It's the truth in your life this morning. It's the truth in mine, and so it is. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Am I strong enough to bear the burdens that sometimes come living this thing called life? Am I wise enough to make the right decisions when I'm standing at the fork in the road? Sometimes I wonder and ponder, only to realize I'm not alone, and there's nothing I have to do on my own, because I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. Will I have enough to do the things I need to do to take care of myself? Will I have the health of mind and body to live a life of grace and wholeness? Sometimes I wonder and ponder, only to realize I'm not alone, and there's nothing I have to do on my own, because I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place. You are the place. We are the place where God shows up. I am the place. You are the place. We are the place where God shows up. I want you to clap your hands and sing it with me, y'all. Say, I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. Now look at the person next to you and say, you are the place. You are the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. You are the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. place. You are the place. We are the place where God shows up.
Oh, indeed. You are the place. I'm the place where God shows up. And so when we step in that place of power, we're no longer fearful. We're no longer doubtful. We know who we are and whose we are, children of the Most High. And we know we can be courageous. We know we can make a difference in the world, because that's what we're here to do. We're here to make the world a better place exactly where we are. And you know, this community of ours, during this whole time, we have never stopped one iota for doing the work that we've been called to do. You look outside and you see a whole wagon full of food that we're going to give to the food pantry later today. The whole time we've been doing this, we've been supporting women who are leaving the shelters fleeing violence through our Elizabeth Clare Fund. We support kids who are wanting to, with disabilities, who want to go from high school to get further education, the Venus Manley Scholarship Fund. And we're gearing up to do that this year. If you'd like to be a part of it, talk to Mr. Manley over here. Raise your hand, Ted Manley. It's a wonderful thing we do. We are not weak and wounded. We are strong. We are vital. We are needed. We're necessary. We're raising a lamp of hope and love for the world. And we do this through your support. Now, as I always remind you, we can support ourselves, and you can support our center in a couple of ways. Through consciousness, that's doing prayer work for us. Through ideas and volunteership, helping us out around here, or maybe giving us an idea of how we can better support ourselves. And then finally, in coin. However you choose to support us, let me tell you, we're grateful for your support. If you will, take your hand and place it over your heart in whatever means your support is with us, and read our affirmation of prosperity. I live in a universe of abundance. As I joyfully give, I join in the divine flow, and all that I share with life returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is. Well, thank you in advance for your generous contribution, knowing your support is helping us bring a light of love to the world. Eddie?
Love is just a song we sing. Fear is how we die. You can make the mountains ring or make the angels cry. No, the dove is on the wing. You need not know why. If you know the words, sing it with me. Come on, people now. Smile on your brother. Everybody get together. Try and love one another right now. Some may come and some may go. It will surely pass. There's the one who left us here, returns for us at last. We are but a passing sunlight on a blade of grass. Sing it with me, y'all. Come on, people now. Smile on your brother. Everybody get together. Try and love one another right now. One more time, y'all. Right now, right now, right now. Give yourselves a hand.
Oh, thank you, Eddie. Come on, people now. Try to love one another. All right, guys, I'm going to do a closing prayer to end our service. I'm going to do it in the first person, but take it in for yourself. If If I say something that works for you, well, hold tight to that. If I say something that doesn't work for you, well, just let that slide by. But just know this truth with me this morning. There is but one God and one mind and one power. And that power is perfect love. It's divine intelligence. That power has created me. And that power loves me. Loves me from the top of my head to the bottom of my feet. Loves my willingness to give myself for love and joy and kindness and compassion. Loves my courage that even though I fall down, I lift my eyes up to a better knowing. So this morning, here now in this sacred place, surrounded all by these wonderful loving souls, I drink in this high vibration and I choose to see myself as God sees me, not as weak, not as wounded, but bold, compassionate, kind. This morning, I'm lifting my eyes up to a better knowing. I'm turning away from all lack and limitation. This morning, I am moving out and moving up. I see the golden path God has set before me. The light has been lit before my feet, and I am moving out to a new heaven and a new earth. God has proclaimed it. God is calling me on. And this morning, I am saying yes to all the love, all the joy, all the goodness that God had in mind when it called me by name. This is my truth. Every cell of my being radiates this right knowing, and I release this prayer into the mind of God to do its good, its bold, its dynamic work returning to me multiplied abundantly. And together we say, and so it is. All right, my friends, I'm going to leave you with one last thought, one final thought. Your life, it's not a problem to be solved. It's a miracle unfolding. Your job this week is go name your miracle, proclaim your miracle, and make it your own. God bless us all. Now let us go be the miracle God is calling us to be. This is Reverend Ken with Eddie Watkins Jr. Blessings for all of us. Until we see each other again, God bless.
Please stand and join us for the peace song. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with our family in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every breath I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.